Okay, welcome back to Identity Crisis. I am so glad you are here. For those of us that joined us from the first episode, you're welcome back. I love you so much. Thank you for coming back. And if this is your first time for tuning in, welcome to the journey. So, in this podcast, we're diving deep into the messy, beautiful process of figuring out who we are, one layer at a time. In our last episode, we started with a big question: who am I really? And we talked about how our identity is a journey and not a destination, right? So today we are going to peel back the layers of identity, right? And explore the idea that we are not just one thing, right? That we are a complex form. And if you've ever felt like you are too much or you're not enough, this episode is for you. So let's dig in. So when I think about identity, I often picture like an onion with multiple layers, right? And there's layer upon layer, and each layer revealing something new, right? So our identity in that way is made up of so many pieces: our roles, our relationships, our values, our dreams, even our struggles. And sometimes those layers fit together perfectly, and other times they seem to clash, leaving us wondering, how can all these parts belong to one person, right? If you are confused, I am confused as well. But let's be real. We live in a world that boxes us in. No, the world loves to box us in. And it's all easy to get stuck in labels, right? Oh, I'm a student, I'm a parent, I'm an artist, I'm an introvert, or I'm a leader, or whatever it is, right? But you're not just one thing. You are dynamic. No, you're ever evolving, right? See, the Bible said that we are, for you created my innermost being, right? You knit me together in my mother's womb. See, isn't that beautiful? Like, if you've ever seen a material that was knitted, you see it's a complex form. Things are just woven, layers of wool are woven together. There's so much complexity and depth in it. And that is how we are. We are not one dimensional, we are multidimensional, right? God was very intentional when he created us. We are designed with so much intention, complexity, and depth. So don't box yourself into whatever label that has been attached to you or you have attached to yourself. But then I also understand that there are contradictions. So let's talk about contradictions, right? Have you ever felt torn between two parts of yourself? Like maybe you feel you're a free spirit, but who also craves structure. Like I'll give you an example of myself, right? I like things being organized, but I don't know how to organize stuff. I'm terrible at organizing things, but I like things being well organized, right? So it's a contradiction, right? Now, and for somebody else, you can be deeply empathetic, right? But you struggle to open up, right? It's a contradiction, right? And it can feel like these contradictions disqualify us somehow, right? But I've learned they actually make us human, right? Paul describes us as jars of clay, right? That holds a treasure. I think in Second Corinthians, um, he said, and to me, that's a reminder that we can be fragile and valuable at the same time. The jar is very fragile, but it's holding treasure, so which means it is valuable, right? And it's okay to hold tension, between the different parts of yourself, but embracing those contradictions is part of embracing your full humanity, really. And we cannot stress enough the weight of expectations in all this, right? See, from the moment we're born, expectations start shaping us. From our parents to our teachers, our friends, society, even social media, right? Everybody has something to say about who we should be, right? We're told to be responsible, we're told to be ambitious, to be kind, be successful, be creative, be disciplined. At the same time, be fun, be adventurous, be free spirited. And it is exhausting. See, I felt it too. See, there are moments when I ask myself, am I making choices because they align with who I am or because I'm afraid of disappointing someone? I'll give you a clear example for this. So I've always loved my hair, right? People that know me, are close to me, know that I've always loved my hair and I like to keep my hair. And but there's one thing that I've always wanted to do with my hair, which is plait my hair. I've always wanted to plait my hair. I like weaves. Is it weaves they call it? I don't know, but like I like plaiting my hair basically. I've always wanted to do that, but the environment I've always found myself in never gave me the opportunity. Oh, there was primary school, there was secondary school, and then there was university, and then there's church and all these kind of things. The environments never gave me the opportunity. So by the time I moved to Lagos, it was a different environment, right? This environment was more receptive, to those kind of things. I realized that I still wasn't plaiting my hair. I'll just keep the hair and it will grow long and then I'll cut it and grow it again long and to cut it. And then one day, um, my then MD, shout out to James Lord, by the way, he said, why you they waste hair? I can never forget that statement. He said, why you they waste hair? Go and lock this hair or plait the hair or something. Just don't waste the hair. And I sat down for weeks to think about that statement. Why you they waste hair? And the question I kept asking myself in that time is, why exactly are you not plaiting your hair? Because you really want to plait your hair. So why are you not plaiting your hair? And I realized that it's the whole thing that has been in my head. Oh, I don't want to disappoint somebody. I don't want to disappoint somebody. How we do? And one day I just woke up, went to the salon, and I made my, and it was really beautiful. I really liked it, and I got to church and everybody was like, "Oh, this is so nice. This is beautiful." Right now, at this point, there was nothing stopping me from making my hair, but I wasn't doing it because of what will people say. The expectations from other people, right? Even though I've cut my hair now, but this time around it's a different story. We'll talk about it another time, right? But you could see that I wasn't doing that because I was afraid of disappointing someone. And sometimes we mold ourselves into versions of what's acceptable, but deep down, it can feel like we are living someone else's life, right? Romans 12, verse 2 says, do not be not conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. See, that verse speaks about the tension between external expectations and your internal truth, right? So it's a reminder that you don't have to be defined by outside pressures. See, we can shift our focus inward and seek clarity on who we are, and who we are truly meant to be. So, here's where it gets tricky, right? Sometimes the expectations we struggle with aren't just from the outside, right? They come from within us too. We all contain contradictions. See, we want stability or crave adventure. We long for deep connections, but then we're afraid of vulnerability, right? We seek success, but wrestle with imposter syndrome. Take me for example. See, I want to embrace who I am, flaws and all. See, but at the same time, I want to be seen as competent, put together, confident. And those two things don't always align. And the more I fight to resolve that contradiction, the more stuck I feel. But maybe, just maybe, identity isn't about choosing one side of the contradiction. What if it's about holding both at the same time, right? Multiple layers. Think about Moses in Exodus 3. He was called to lead, but he doubted himself. He knew he had a purpose, but he felt unqualified, right? And yet he was still chosen. See, that tells me that we don't have to be fully figured out to step into who we are meant to be. We can hold our contradictions and still move forward. So, how do we navigate this? How do we grow while still embracing who we already are? So, there's a balance between self acceptance and self improvement. Some days we need to challenge ourselves to push past our fears, take risks, and expand beyond our comfort zone. Other days, I feel like we need to give ourselves grace to accept that we are doing the best we can, even if we don't have everything figured out. So the key is knowing when to push and when to pause, right? It's okay to want more for yourself while also recognizing that you are enough right here, right now. You understand? Philippians 1:6, I think, said, be confident of this, that he who began the good work will carry it to completion. See, it's ongoing. Growing, it's ongoing. We are not supposed to have it figured out in one go, I believe. So now let's take this from concepts to action. So I want us to reflect on these questions like we always do. You can maybe journal them, take them out with a friend, or just sit with them for a while. So question number 1 is, what expectations, whether society, family, or even yourself, have shaped your identity the most? So question number 2, where do you feel contradictions in your life? And how can you embrace them instead of fight them? And question number 3, what's one small way you can honor your true self this week, even if it goes against your expectations? Just like I woke up one day and went to the salon and made my hair. Do something. Just do something to honor yourself this week, right? So, with that, I just want us to remember that identity isn't about arriving at a fixed answer. It's about embracing the process. So the more we lean into these questions, the more clarity we will gain. So as we wrap up on this episode, I want to say a big thank you for everyone for being here and for being part of the journey with me. So remember, identity is complex and we don't have to figure it out at once. Give yourself permission to be a work in progress, right? So if this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to follow the podcast, leave a review, share it with someone who might need this conversation. You can also connect with me on social media, on Instagram. My name is Paul Ranye. You can also send me a message on Facebook and Twitter. But I'm mostly active on Instagram, sure. Just send me a message on Instagram. I still don't know how to use Snapchat yet. Hopefully I will in the future. And we're setting up social media for the podcast itself. So very soon we'll be able to share our views, share our stories directly to the podcast channels. So, and definitely would love to hear your thoughts, okay? Until next time, be kind to yourself, embrace the contradictions, and remember, you don't have to have it figured out. You don't have to have all the answers on the right path. Give yourself grace, and you will figure it out in time. See you in the next episode. Peace out.